The day of the NFL draft here in Detroit is coming closer and closer, and who knows what Brad Holmes is thinking for what picks he wants to get. He seems to like to surprise us a little bit, taking a running back in the first round, a linebacker last year, but who knows what he's thinking. Today, I've got my third mock draft video. Go down in the comments, let me know what you thought of my picks, and also who you want the Lions to get, when you want to get them, and why you want them. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I appreciate you guys watching. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it, starting with round 1, pick 29. I got the Lions going after a guy that I have been falling in love with as time has gone on, and that's Darius Robinson out of Missouri. As you can see, he was born in Michigan, and there was an interview, and he was saying how he would love to be a part of the Lions organization. He just seems like a Dan Campbell kind of guy to me, and when I watched him play, I could see him being the perfect sidekick for Aiden Hutchinson, a guy who could be a top 10 edge in this league as time goes on. I really like what I see from this guy. He's projected to go anywhere from 29 to 35. I haven't really seen him sneaking in up into the top 20 at all. So he's really just projected to go late first, early second, anywhere in that range. Not really the highest range, but some of the strengths for this guy. He's very powerful, he's a great run defender. He's got great techniques, heavy strength, and great size and length. So weaknesses that he needs a little bit better balance. He's got a stiff lower body, and he needs a little bit more flexibility. So looking at him, he's pretty raw still. I think there's some pass rush moves that he could continue to develop. And as time goes on, I see this guy getting better and better, which is crazy because he was already dominant at Missouri in the SEC, and he wrecked games. Missouri, they were a top 10 team this year. He was a huge part of that reason, and they had a great defense. I see this guy being a very good NFL player. I think that you pair him alongside Aiden Hutchinson, not only is that going to make Hutchinson better, that's going to make guys like Ali McNeil and this guy better as well. I would love to have Darius Robinson in Detroit, and I think getting him at pick 29 to me would just be perfect. I think that's a great spot to get him at, and I would love that pick. So let's go ahead and let's get into our second pick, which I've got to trade. I'm going to be trading with the Arizona Cardinals and getting their second round pick this year, and then also their 2025 fifth round pick. And Arizona is going to be getting our third round pick 73 this year, and then our third round pick of 2025. So that's going to be my trade. With the Cardinals' second round pick number 35, I've got them going after Kamari Lassiter. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. And Kamari Lassiter, he's a guy who I have also started to really begin to like. And at first, I was like, he's kind of just like a Keely Ringo. I don't know if you guys remember him from last year at Georgia. And, I kind of watched him. I was like, okay, this guy's starting to look like a legit lockdown guy. And then the more I watched him, the more I realized this is going to be a good guy in the NFL. I can't believe he's not being projected in the first round. And I think a lot of that is just based on the fact that he didn't really have, a ton of interceptions. I don't even think he had one interception. That's something that, he's going to be able to develop. And that's something I'm going to talk about here in a second. Some strengths and weaknesses for Kamari Lassiter. Fluid athlete, great downfield coverage guy, which is what we need exactly. I could see him being a great NFL corner. He's a good tackler, great physicality at the line as well. He can also grab at times, and he needs a little bit better ball skills, right? He needs to be able to track balls better, be able to get interceptions. He's also got a bit of a smaller physique. He can get a little bit bigger. But I could see this guy stepping in day one and being an immediate cornerback 2, and then within 3 years being the best cornerback on this team. As for the NFL, I could see him being a top 10 corner. I for sure could see him, you take a Georgia guy, they always turn out being pretty dang good. We've seen that in the past. And I do think that this guy would develop nicely, especially with good coaching. And I think that, I could live with him and Cam Sutton this year. I do think we still need another free agent to go alongside of them as well. But Kamari Lassiter could be a perfect cornerback 2 and our future cornerback 1 for sure. So I would love to get Kamari Lassiter on my team. He looks like a dog. I've got another trading with the Jaguars this time. And with this trade, we will be getting their 2024 second round pick, and then the Jags will be receiving our 2024 second round pick as well, and then also a future fifth round pick via Arizona, and then also our fifth round pick this year. And with that pick 40, I got them taking Devondre Sweat. This is a guy who I had in my first mock draft, and it's so hard to leave a guy like this out because this is a position that we need. Devondre Sweat is probably my favorite player in this draft. I would be ecstatic if we got this guy, and there's good reason because A, like I said, he's position of need. B, he's one of the best defensive tackles in this draft. Most websites have him ranked 7, 8, or 9. Don't believe everything you see. This guy is going to be great in the NFL. Now, looking at some strengths and weaknesses, now there are a few things that maybe will concern you. But Devondre Sweat, he's an elite run stopper. He's a brick wall. He can get to the quarterback He's got some decent pass rush moves. He requires a double team, and he's got great lower body strength. Some weaknesses that he doesn't have much athleticism, and he's not an every down guy. And I talked about this before. He might not be able to play every down because he doesn't have the greatest endurance. And my other weakness was low endurance. He doesn't have the greatest athletic and endurance skills, but you know what? You can develop those, and you don't have to be an every down guy. We're gonna have depth. If you can just play 70-80% of snaps every game, that's all we'll need from him, because he's gonna require a double team. That's gonna free up guys like Hutchinson if we get Darius Robinson, him, or whoever else is on that opposite side, as well as and the thing is that this guy's able to shed those double teams because he's so big. It's almost like you have to triple team him. He's just a monster. He would change this defense, and he would be a beast. Like I said, I've taken him before already, but I think we need to get him, and I love him. Round 3, pick number 92. I've got the Lions going after Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. And some things about him. So it says O-lineman. He's not just a center. He played center at West Virginia, as you will see here. And some things about him. Some strengths. He's got a great burst. He's coordinated. He can play guard and center. He's got experience at both, which is great. He's got a wrestling background, which really helps him with his physicality and just his hand movement and placement, stuff like that, which is very useful. And he's got pretty good strength as well. So weaknesses is that he can bend at his waist too much. He's not the most athletic guy, and he can also struggle with timing of hand placement and stuff like that at times. Other than that, this is one of the highly regarded O-linemen in this draft. Guys like Cooper Beebe and Zach Zinter out of Michigan. Those are some of the best guys that I think we can get third round, and I think this guy right here would be a perfect guy to get third round. I think if you're looking for an O-lineman outside of those two guys I already mentioned, this is probably the guy to go after. I really like what I see from him, and I think he could be a starter day one if you needed him to. He was great at West Virginia. I see him being great in the NFL and being probably a top 3 O-lineman in this draft, honestly. I think that O-lineman is definitely a need. I think that we need to focus on that position either in the draft or free agency, because we might not be able to re-sign Jonah. And, Vaitai, he's probably either gone or he's going to retire. And I just think that you can never have too many O-linemen on this team, because O-line is probably the most important position on this team. We've seen it. Helps our run game, helps our pass game, and it keeps our offense going. And our offense is what got us to where we were last year. And Zach Frazier looks like one of the better ones in this draft. And to get him third round would be a steal to me. So Zach Frazier, would love to get him in the third round. Moving on to round 6, pick 207. I got the Lions going after Josh Proctor out of Ohio State. And now he does play safety. And this might be like, okay, we don't need a safety. And I agree. Because any other mock draft probably won't have a safety. However, I think this guy's a very undervalued guy in this draft. I think he is a lot better. I think he should be a 3rd, 4th round pick. And the reason that I have the Lions even targeting this guy is because not much other positions that we would really need, right? You could go O-line. Usually I would take an O-line in this spot, and there's a few guys you could probably go after. I like Charles Turner out of LSU, but I already kind of went after an interior O-lineman. So Josh Proctor, the reason I got him is because he's, safety depth, right? Who knows what they'll do with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You have Iffy, Kirby, Tracy's gone now. You'll have Brandon Joseph, the undrafted rookie out of Notre Dame, who should have been easily a 6th round pick last year. A guy who I could see stepping in and starting if we ever needed him to. You'll have this guy who can step in and start and maybe be a guy for our future, because I like what I see from him. Some strengths. He's got position versatility. He can play any safety spot. He's a great run defender as well. It's one of his biggest strengths. And he's got a sideline-to-sideline pursuit, meaning he can end up on any side of the field. And then he's also, some weaknesses is he can overrun plays sometimes, and then he doesn't always finish his tackles. He'll initiate the hit, but sometimes he won't fully wrap up. I think that this guy would be a great safety just to have for, tackling, run defense, and he can also cover downfield, and he can be a ball hawk if you need him to, and he can develop that as well. And I think he's going to develop over time. Could be a great starting safety for us one day if we need him to, because he looks good to me. Round 7, pick 242, the last pick of this draft. I got the Lions taking Joshua Carty out of Stanford. He's a kicker, and as you can see there, I think I read he was 22 out of 26, something like really good. You saw 86% field goal percentage. That right there was a 61-yarder. I think the Lions need a consistent kicker on this team. I like Badgley, and maybe we can deal with him for another year, but if they're not confident in him, go get a kicker in this draft. There's a lot of great kickers in this draft, and this is definitely one of the top 3, I'd say, and I would absolutely love to have him. He's got a great leg. He's very consistent, And he can also, he's not great in bad weather, but most kickers aren't anyway, so who cares? And he can be uncharacteristic very rarely. That's happened before, but other than that, he can kick from anywhere in the field, basically. So he's a great kicker. That's going to do it for today's video. Another mock draft coming out 2 weeks from now. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to let me know who you want, why you want them, when you want them, and let me know what you thought of all of my picks, what grade you would give this draft, and what future videos you would like to see as well. I appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, make sure to go down and subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll have another video coming out this week. We're going to go through some Michigan State basketball. Bit of a disappointing season, but as we get into March Madness, we're going to talk more about them and why they still have a chance to win it all. Like I said, thank you guys for watching. Go Lions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.